Hello and welcome to Make Some Noise. This is a very special episode with my good friends from Gravereign. How are you guys doing? Of course, a legendary Dave Shankle, lead singer Tony Ingle. And why don't you guys introduce your bandmates?
Okay, we're doing pretty good. Glad to be here, Jason. We're all crowding in. Thanks for having us again. We got me, Tony Angle, Jack. We got Mike here in the back, our drummer. Our bass player couldn't make it. His wife was really sick, but on behalf of Mickey, he's here with us in spirit. Okay?
That's what matters. Now, Dave Shred Shankle, you're such a shred master in your own right. So I think it's really cool that you got a second guitar player in the band. Talk about the decision.
I've never heard of In My Own Right before. I don't know who he is. Yeah, that's right. So if you want to give me that, I'll take it, brother. It's all good. What is this interview? Maybe 6 or 7 we've done.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's great. So let's talk about the new album. Just came out this last Friday. How have people been responding to that?
It's been real positive so far. Icon of the Accursed is our second record. Dave and I still call them records, by the way. We're old.
Yeah.
David and I started the band out of the pandemic. His tour got canceled, and I started doing a sync licensing project. So he and I just started writing together, really just to pass time. And then all of a sudden, it turned into a full album, and now it did well enough that we've got 2 in now.
Yes. Tony, I was reading up on you, and I understand that when you started out in music, you started out as a drummer, actually.
That is correct. And like most drummers, we all desire to be in front of the stage. So I actually lived the dream.
This is what I have to deal with all the time,
You
Jason.
made the transition like Phil Collins, you moved up to the front of the stage.
It just means that Michael can't play his parts without me telling him what to do, because I know how to play. So.
And I've assumed the position behind everyone.
So we're going to see how that works out. Okay.
Now, I understand that like the first video, it had kind of a Jack the Ripper theme. You guys want to talk all about that?
Yeah, so this new album is really about human evil that has actually occurred in history. We stayed away from the Third Reich. We stayed away from anything where it was more legend or myth. We wanted real. So Jack the Ripper really existed, and they never caught him. And he really captivated the entire city of London because he taunted the cops. He really became the first celebrity serial killer.
Well, this came about when we were done with Destination Aftermath. I said to Tony, let's do something on the second record that has really happened. Now, some people have put these things about serial killers, which this record is not necessarily about that, and put it in movies. We decided to put it in song. And how we worked together and storyboard things, I said, well, we've got Genghis Khan, Jack the Ripper, Dahmer. Tony came up with a few other ones. And we would think about, like when the first song I wrote for it was Genghis Khan, you think about who he is, investigate your history. What did this man do? And it puts my mind and his in the picture of the brutality of the music to write, because as you know, that's what we do. Same thing with Jack the Ripper. What was his time in London and the World State Fair then, and how he never got caught, and what he did, the kind of music that would fit what in our minds works. So if people did it in movies, we do it in music. And that's how we culminated the whole record from one song to another, and the crazy people we picked to sing about.
I dig that because, it's not your typical thing that you write a metal song about. I mean, it kind of is got a metal connection, I guess. But what I dig about it is if people are into the music, they're going to learn about who these characters really were. They're going to maybe even get on the internet and research it. And I love the fact you guys are educating people.
We're here to remind them that this really happened, and we're just doing it in song.
And you haven't lived until you've actually sat through the entire death tape that Jim Jones put together.
Wow.
He killed 900 people with one punch.
That's right.
And, with a Kool-Aid.
So, Tony, it sounds like you really researched like each individual song, the topic.
Because I'm also looking for what angle are we going to write it from. So, for instance, we did a song called Escape from the Oxford Apartments. It's about Jeffrey Dahmer. I wrote that from Tracy Edwards' perspective. Tracy Edwards was the last guy.
He survived.
He survived. He was the guy that was supposed to get killed
and told a story and had his story. So you got to follow up and read on this. And Tony's very good at researching, we all are, to storyboard to where we could go, should we go this far or a little farther or hold back? So, you know, when we say, here's what the song's going to be, we already know how it's going to turn out before it's done. As I'm writing the music and giving it to him, sometimes I'll go, should I go a little farther with this part of that or less? Because it's always, we've learned from the first record, to have the song longer than shorter, because we can always edit it down, and it gives him more room depending on, well, I need this to tell more of the story, or I got in what I need, I can cut it down and back it off. And that's how we work together, and it's worked out very well for us.
And have you guys thought about performing these songs live, as far as like, do they have to be played in any particular order, or can they be?
So that's why we got Jack and Michael and Mickey, you know, because Dave and I had originally started this. It was just the two of us. And now, you know, so we were like, hey, how do we present this in a live environment? And, you know, Jack is an incredible singer in his own right, dude. Seriously.
Very good singer, Jack. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jack's basically going to, you know, he sings backing vocals on a few of the tracks. And on live, he's probably going to pick up more of it, you know, just,
and Mickey does lower range.
So originally, Jason, my thought was I was going to go with like a Helicon 3, you know, just do like a harmonizer, courser. Yeah. Now I don't have to. I got a Jack.
He doesn't have to do that. Our problem is we actually have Jack the Ripper in the band. We got this psycho on drums, Mike back here. You know, these drummers, you got to beat them with a stick all the time to keep them in line. But the moral of this story was why we brought, you know, other guys in, because you know, you know me, many of bands, I'm my own guitar player. I write the stuff as one guitar player, and that's fine, and that's great. And I've been in bands where I've had other guitar players, Fëanor, Devilland, etc., Wings of Destiny. But when this album was done, and we don't need to get in why it took so long to get to rehearsals, but we're here, is we felt it would be better to bring in some guys to have rhythm, some co-lead guitars, more vocals to what Tony's doing. Mickey sings, Jack sings. You know, Jack's been around from Hammer On to many other bands that he's been in. And it would fill the band out more and be less stuff that we would probably have to think about flying in. And when I say flying in, I only mean orchestral stuff, unless it's the real stuff on this record of the people you hear talking. That's from the actual tapes when they found these people. We could use that if we wanted to live. But we're at the point now where we're coming together to start rehearsals and what songs from each album fits better live than not so much. And if anybody says to us, play your hit song, I'll go, well, which one? Because all our songs are hits. That's how I look at it. Okay, so there you go. There you go.
So how long was the recording process for Valve? It sounds like it took a while, but I mean, once the whole band got together and you had a whole band.
Well, so as Dave said, we storyboard out everything. So the first album was a fictitious civil war. We literally stole it from Facebook. Everybody was brawling on Facebook during the pandemic. So we were like, man, imagine if there was a real civil war. Yeah. We had created an entire scene with the city under siege and bombing the crap out of it. So then, it was easy to go, Dave, I need a song that says this, or Dave, I need a song that has this feel. So for this song, it's also a concept record in Icon of the Accursed. But like I said, it's more of the, they're all these songs are threaded by that human element of evil. So realistically, once we put together like our storyboard, the songs come together relatively quickly. The hardest part is him and I, we must have drew up a list of about 50 people to write about, and we just constantly whittled it down. Like I wanted to do the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, and then again, we were trying to avoid doing a bunch of serial killers, it kind of sends the wrong message.
Right.
And we stayed away from the Third Reich because other bands have covered that ad nauseum. So realistically, we were trying like a couple of political leaders, your Genghis Khan. Yeah. We have a song called The Prosperity Gospel because that's killed a lot of people. So the Holodomor, which is the Ukrainian famine, when the Soviet Union converted to communism, they killed 20 million Ukrainians.
And just so you know, that name I could never say right, but it's really, hold a whore.
Okay.
Was another name for that. But it's also really means the hunger. So that's why that is the hunger, because that's really what it means.
But we put in some good work on the guys that we did do research on. The last song on the album, not including our joke track and Dave's classical piece, is called Last Words of the Condemned. And it literally just went through how the state has executed criminals throughout our history. The first verse, he's being hung. The second verse, he's electric chair. Third verse is lethal weapon.
You hear those judges and the people passing the sentence. That is the real audio from when that happened. That's not made up. We didn't fabricate that. We got that, took it because it's free public reign, and we put it on the record in our way of doing it.
It added an element of real tension to it.
It gives it more realness. Just like we said earlier, to rewind, when we're storyboarding the song and the title, I will sit down and think about whether it's Genghis Khan, Jack the Ripper, or the hunger. How does that feel to me, what it's about? And that tells me which guitar do I want to grab that I think with that tuning is going to fit what I want to project and go, Tony, here's the hunger. Here's Genghis Khan on a 7-string. Here is Follow the Leader on this guitar, drop C. Because that guitar comes to me when I think about the music in my head, that it's the right instrument in the right tuning for that song that I already know what's going on in his mind. And then we build it from there.
Yeah. You know what I love about that, guys, is like, I remember hearing specifically years ago about Richard Ramirez when, they were trying to catch him and everything. They finally caught up with him. And the first thing the newsrooms were reporting was, they found him wearing an AC/DC hat. He was a heavy metal fan.
And they beat the hell out of him, too. The people just started jacking him.
And I love the fact that
that did not work out well for him.
Yeah, right? And you're having them playing guitars and get involved with the music. And it's a very unique way of creating a song from what you're telling me. I mean, it sounds like almost the storyboard coming first, come up with the idea of the characters, and then you write the lyrics and the music.
Yeah, well, the research is the hardest part.
The nice thing about that, too, with how I write this, and I do, as you know, in my music, so many rhythm guitar parts and harmonies in my leads, because it's a question and answer. Having Jack in the band now, I can do a lot of these rhythm harmonies live that I would have had to have some eliminated, some used. So I'll be able to pull this stuff off with him and be our own kind of, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden kind of thing, but in the brutalness of what I write and Tony do. It just frees us up more, and solos I have the rhythm guitar, and I've even said to you, there's going to be some of these songs where I'm going to go, look, here's what I did. You take this chunk, you write a solo, play it at rehearsal, and you do that live. So it's not just him always going chunga, chunga, chunga. I mean, there's going to be some spots I'm going to go, hey, just make up your own solo, work on it, and play that live. What's on the record that I did, hey, that's fine. People got the record, they do it. But he's going to sing, play rhythm. There'll probably be some harmony stuff, but there'll be some spots where I'll drop down point. Everybody will go, oh, Jack's doing a lead. That's all part of bringing somebody else in a band.
Yeah,
that is sharing as a group. You know what I mean? And it adds that element to the song with vocals, Mike's drums, and Mickey singing, who's a beast on bass, and what we do. What we do.
Now, one of the things that I found interesting about Michael is Michael plays live to a click. Not a lot of drummers do that. They may go to a click in the studio, and even then they're fighting about it. But Michael actually plays that live. So it gives you a lot of, if we do,
he has an excellent leader.
Yeah, so if we do want to fly some of the contacts, some of the actual stuff, we can actually fly that in because we're locked into click anyway.
And that's what we will determine, what songs can be less or none of any of that, or what really does need to fly in. Because I do so much of the orchestral stuff, strings, choir, space strings, a lot of layers. With having another guitar player in there now that has that rhythm, whether I'm going to lead, are we missing a lot of those strings? can we get away with a song without it? Or do we need to really go and try it and go, well, that really adds to it because it's more what's on the record? We're finally in a room together where we're about to start these rehearsals and go 1, 2, 3, 4, hit a chord and go, what in the hell do we sound like? And take it from there.
I suppose I should
Let me
clarify
ask
that
you,
real quick.
Michael, about your unique drumming style. How did you come up with that initially, you know, when you first started playing?
Just for all the years that I've been playing, I just always kind of advanced, you know,
Okay.
rock. I mean, I grew up in country, I went into rock, and then I really got fascinated by all the metal. So it's just been an evolution throughout the years.
Yeah, and please forgive me, guys, for going off a little off topic here, but I got to ask you: has Dave Shankle at rehearsal ever got hot and spicy and yanked out the hot sauce?
No.
I've yanked out something else because I'm glad to go.
Yeah. Dave can clear a room quick if he yanks that out.
Let me tell you, to clarify Mike, when he said he grew up on country, don't let him bullshit you. He's an ABBA lover too. And when we take a break and he puts on Waterloo, we're ready to go, brother. Now the true metal kicks in. Yeah. God help us.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is maybe on your next record, I mean, sounds like you kind of did it on this one, but talking about playing with an orchestra and doing the orchestration, Dave, I mean, you remember when Metallica and even Deep Purple years ago played with an orchestra? Maybe that's something you guys could do live or even make a whole Gravereign orchestra record, you know, down the line.
No, it's nothing is impossible. Your limitations are only in your mind. And my studio and my equipment and that I use to do all this as an engineer, a producer, and I've gotten better over the years and always learning and looking up to other guys that I'm a group member with on YouTube and stuff that help me out. It's just advancing me to make more of what we're doing happen in my room. And now we're already talking about the next record. And as I write stuff, we have rehearsals. I've got gear here, gear there. I could go, okay, Jack, give me a 30-foot XLR cable. I'm going to plug in. Here's what you're going to play. And then my parts will have been done in my home studio. Mike will get them all mic'd up just to get some demo drums. It's going to be a lot easier to get things done because the band will be rehearsing here for demo stuff to get parts and then take it from there to the studio to finalize it or where it goes with me. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I'm getting a lot closer to that.
That's great. And Jack, how do you and Dave go about splitting up the guitar parts? Like, you guys like write your own
rock,
riffs?
paper, scissors.
Yeah. Okay.
Splitting the guitars. Who does what parts? I said rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, right. So, you know, basically everything that's been already pre-written. So I will just lay down the tracks, and then Dave will do the other lead, follow-up leads and harmonies, and then I'll just do the harmonies from his solos. Whatever one he wants to take, I just take the other one. It's pretty self.
Okay. And Dave, I gotta get a little somber here and tell you, I was so sorry, of course, to hear about the loss of your good friend Ross Boss a few months back. And you want to talk at all about that?
Yeah, well, you know, the whole story that some people don't know, but a lot do now because I've said this in interviews. Ross and I actually met during the Fighting the World Tour and became friends. And we had each other's phone numbers then. And it wasn't until about 3 years later after that, they were playing in town at the Thirsty Whale. At the time was a popular club where we all grew up and played. And I went out and seen him again and hanging out. And then it was a couple of months after that, Vengeance was playing. They're a band I was in at the time. And a girlfriend, not a girlfriend I dated, but a friend, Mary Beth, told me Joey and Eric Adams is here and they want to talk to you. So, and I'm like, okay. And I went out from the dressing room and they were sitting there with Scott Columbus, Eric. We met, we chatted. They walked on the side of the stage, watched me play. That was a Saturday. They came back Sunday to see me again. Joey and I started hanging out. I was working a job at the time at 3 times a week, going down to the city, hanging out with Joe. And then they finally told me, you know, we're finishing mixing the record and Ross is out of the band. And Ross didn't say anything at the time. And they had just decided that I would be the guy to come in. So I quit my job, sold my car. I toured on the Kings of Metal record while that whole time I was writing songs with Joey for Triumph of Steel. And Ross actually, also people don't know, started Manowar, and Joey and Eric and them eventually ended up Joey taking over the band. But Doc, who was their engineer that designed everything for the band, they worked for Black Sabbath with Paul Clark, the stage manager. Okay. That's how Manowar got started.
Wow.
And Ross did 6 albums with him. He got him the Marshall deal. And then things happened, and Ross was out, and I got in the band. And when Scott was kind of having troubles with his family, one of his boys was sick, I remembered Rhino because I met him in Nashville when we played, and we exchanged number because we were both about the same age. I said, let me get this guy, Kenny Earl. I'll get him to do a drum solo on a video. I called him up. He did it, got him in the band. And that was a change for Manowar because a lot of people in LA where we played said, you guys are like these Racer X dudes in this old school metal band. And we brought it to a new level. And I'm proud of that. You know, things change, always do. And it's the first Manowar record to this date, and who's ever watching knows this to be fucking true, went gold and platinum overseas over any Manowar record still to this date. And I'm happy about that. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and you do Ross a lot better than I did. I had the opportunity to interview him a number of times.
He was a great musician. He was involved when punk rock started in Brooklyn, New York, you know, and he was a bluesy B.B. King guy. That was his favorite guitar player, B.B. King. You know, he just had soul in his playing. He wasn't a big shredder or a neoclassical guy. That was just his thing, and metal at heart. And you know, that's how Manowar really came to be. So Ross should get a lot of credit for that. And when I was in the band,
album they put out,
couldn't have been happier.
Yeah, and I got to say two things I always remember about Ross besides his guitar playing was super nice guy, but his love for baseball, and he always had a great sense of humor.
Oh yeah, he sure did, didn't he? And also, I want to thank another person that you're good friends with too, is Tom from Fire Rock. You know, we signed with him.
Great guy. Tom Collier.
And, you know, him and Ross were great friends. They've known each other for over 35 years. So this is a blow to a lot of people. And they have that festival going on at Sharky's July 18th in New York. I wished I could be there, but I can't. But, you know, Held Hostage is playing, and that Sabbath Nights is going to be playing there.
Hey, Dave, you know who's going to be the special Held Hostage drummer that night?
What's that?
The legendary Carl Kennedy is going to be.
Yeah. He was on the interview that we did with Tom, and it's funny because he was the original first drummer in Manowar. Never met him. I only knew Donnie and Scott, and then got Rhino in. So here it is, 30-something years later, after out of Manowar, all, you know, 3 DSG records, 40 guest solo CDs, and here he is sitting online with me and Tony, the original drummer, going, hi, nice to meet you, and never met him the entire time we were ever in the band. So what a nice guy. Great drummer, too.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see you guys are finally with Fire Rock, and I can give a little behind-the-scenes story here because Tom shared with me that you and him been talking for like maybe last 2.5 years before the deal was actually final, and you were in the midst of the making of the album. So it's kind of great to finally see you guys with them because Fire Rock they're on a upward trajectory, and a lot of great things happening with that label right now.
We're happy to be part of the family. Tom's been nothing but gracious with us.
Certainly.
Yeah.
And a quick shout out to Johnny Pendergrass, our manager.
Our manager. Well. Oh yeah, Johnny. He was the first guy that put me under his wings when I came in Manowar, and he's been with me in the band and after the band, and even after he quit working for him, he worked with me and Ross and Rhino the entire time.
Oh wow. Yep. So I got to ask you guys, as far as taking this on tour, I mean, you plan to go to a lot of the big cities, or what's the plan?
Well, we're waiting on. I was just going to say, we're waiting on you to write the check and get catering set up, and then we can discuss how that's going to work. How that's going to work out. Jack and I like only red M&Ms, so our fingers look bloody, so it just looks like we just tore the strings off.
You know, that has to be
I'd imagine vanilla cream. We need French vanilla
Yeah.
cream.
I imagine too, though, guys, just based on the music and all that went into making it, the record and everything, the production, the plans to, when you do perform live, it must be quite a big stage production. So I imagine it's going to cost a little bit of money. You can't play every town, but you're going to probably play as many as you possibly can.
Absolutely. Now, but to be fair, we also don't want to go crazy on it either. Honestly, we formed this project really under the guise of, Dave didn't play local. Dave's in other bands that are overseas. So when he goes to play with Wings of Destiny, for instance, he's in South America or Mexico. He doesn't play Chicago with Wings of Destiny. With Metal Crusaders, he's not playing Chicago.
Same thing. That's half that band's New York and Sweden.
Yeah, and Michael and Jack are in a band together. Mickey's in another band. I've got another band. So, we just, we have other projects that we're all, we all juggle.
Sure.
But this is we put this family together, and we're going to see what kind of noise this band will make.
And
together.
As far as the image, we have talked about since the first record, what kind of screens for the stage, boxes, lights, what we want to present, because there's nothing wrong, and it's all entertainment, with just getting up there in a pair of jeans and a cut-off flannel shirt like your Farmer Joe, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's about an image and the musicianship that's in the band and what you play and how good you play, and that you want to melt people's faces, so when they walk away, they just didn't go, oh, well, they're just another band that I saw down the street playing. There's a lot that's involved to set that image up, and how you present the music than just, oh, here's this song and you play it. There's an attitude, that deliverance, that have people look at you differently and respect you differently, and you come off as a professional band than just, I'll stop right there.
And they'll remember us because Jack and I are going to dress up like Bert and Ernie.
Yes.
Yes.
And hey, I understand, Tony, if you ever need a side gig, that people can also hire you as an accountant as well.
Okay, this is what we will do. Mike will be wearing Depends, and I'm just going to go back to my porn days and be just a tight, short spandex and ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
And Tony, let's talk.
Mickey, he's a beast. God knows what he'll wear, but it'll fit the group.
And I want to ask Tony, I know you're involved in something called Breaking the Silence. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. I fronted Veilside for almost 15 years until our bass player Bob Hilton had passed away. Literally, I was going to retire. Breaking the Silence was the brainchild of Ron and Gene Thomas. That's my drummer, and we started that. And as two local knuckleheads with our band, we raised almost $200,000 by doing an annual concert every year called Breaking the Silence, and we donated to various autism related charities, the Ashley Lay School for Autistic Children. We would also do like sensory rooms for the Chicago Public Schools. Don't have a lot of that, we were raising money for that kind of stuff as well.
We did that for a long time, and let me tell you, people respected it when they played and brought other artists in. It was packed and raised a lot of money for a great cause.
We were extremely happy to do it. And it got to be so big that the band ourselves couldn't run it anymore. So we turned it over to our wives and literally let them, hey, would you guys help us? And for the longest time, they would put together the raffle items, the corporate sponsorships, and everything that would go into that, so that I only had to show up that day and play.
Wow, that's cool.
And that's how it should be.
So, Dave, let's hear. Are we currently working on the next Dave Shankle group record?
Well, here's a little thing I'll let out, because I always let secrets out to you, nobody else. And I told Tom about this, and Tony's the only other person that knows about this. Number one, there's two answers to that. Number one, we're already storyboarding the next third Gravereign record. Okay, but in my entire life, I have always wanted to do an instrumental record to really show the versatility of my playing. Like when I got out of Manowar and did the DSG Ashes to Ashes, people, and Joey was a part of that, and I thank him for putting me in the band, because he helped put me on the map. So if I was doing something, he wanted a piece of it while the contract still was there. People heard Ashes to Ashes and heard, this is not the same guitar player from Manowar to this. I really showed people I could keep up with the best of them.
Yeah.
And every time I wanted to do an instrumental record, oh, here came Hellborn with a different band. Oh, here came Still a Warrior. Then here came Theodore with Gus, my buddy Gus. Love you.
Shout out, Gus.
And then it was me and Scott that formed Devilland. Then it was Gravereign. Then the EP for Wings of Destiny, which is now being made in a double CD. And we redid Ride the Dragon and Master of the Wind, signed with Kingster Music. Then we did Masters of War. So now that's all coming together, that we've been seeing the artwork to be a double CD. Now that I've got 10 seconds to breathe, and this guy's already on me, I'm working on a storyboard. When you said that Destination Earth, I'm like, I ain't even got this one out yet. You want me to start the next one? So I've got the artwork together, 95% done, for David Shankle, Unleash the Dragon, which will be an instrumental CD. And let me tell you, I owe some other people some spots on my record that I played on, and some fucking fantastic players. Guys
that, Dave.
Okay, I don't want to get into the names, but if I did, you'll know who every one of them is. And before I die, I've always wanted to do it. But then again, there could be 4 other records that go, okay, we got to do this. And all that instrumental record could ever be is that's a lovely artwork for the CD cover. And that could never go any farther than that. Because I love bands with vocals and stuff, but I do a lot of classical guitar playing too, and different styles than just neoclassical shred. And I'd like to be able to do that, because the one thing I learned when the Mark Varney days and all these great guitar players that were discovered, they got 12, 15 songs on their record. After the first 3, you've heard everything you can do. Grab another one, and all it is in a different key. Mine will never be like that.
Oh, wow.
So I'm hoping I live long enough to do it, or this guy will be, we're going to do the next 4 records now.
Plus, you got the band. Plus, he's got a band with Rhino, too.
I'm younger than him. If he goes first, I'll put out his solo record.
Yeah.
I'll put it out. Jack and I'll do it.
And he can fight with my sister on who gets the dragon guitar. Oh, I want to see how well that works out.
Okay. Well, I'll let you guys get back to your rehearsal. Thanks for doing this. It was so great getting to meet you guys. We will definitely have you back on when I have a chance to hear the entire record. I got to do that, but take care. And this will be going up about a week or so. I'll let you guys know once the date I have for that, okay?
So we appreciate everything you do, Jason, because without you guys, we don't have avenues to get our name out there. So we appreciate you.
There it is. Everybody, July 10th that's watching. Both this we're already on Spotify. The new one's on Spotify. They're both up there. All social media platforms, digital platforms.
I don't know how you guys feel, but Dave Shankle.
So they're out there. Thank you right here. Look at that. Fire Rock. Tom. Our buddy Tom. Go get it. Get a copy if you want a physical CD. Come to the Gravereign Band website. T-shirts, CDs, Bailside, DSG, everything. My hot sauce. Everything is up there for you to get through the Gravereign Band website. So come on, join us.
Do it now.
Jason, we appreciate you 100%, man.
Yes.
We love everything.
And Jeff at Viper for building me all my signature guitars. There's our T-shirt. Everybody at T-shirt. Angle, Gary Kaler, everybody, all my endorsements. Everybody, Tom at EMG Pickups. Those are my main people. RD at Third Coast Guitars. Without them, they make my machines run. Okay.
Wow,
looking him up with those
Shankle machine.
Everybody at Fractal.
I think I covered most everybody. Yeah. Shout out to Hercules.
Our wives and girlfriends. Our sister Barbie Ray for putting up with us. His wife, God help us.
Hey, Dave, tell Annie we said hi.
There we go.
Okay.
We love you, brother. Thank you.
Anytime, guys. Bye.
Take care.